Hello everybody, it's me Nate aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another complete walkthrough for the newest dungeon in Final Fantasy Online. This is the Hero's Gauntlet. It's the newest level 80 dungeon from patch 5.3 for Shadowbringers. It is an item level requirement of 460 to enter, and it drops level 475 gear. Once again, it consists of some areas with some trash mobs, leading into 3 boss battles. You know the normal routine. This one mixes it up a little bit, because when you first start, once you start fighting these enemies, you'll have to pay close attention sometimes. They might put some AoEs underneath you. Nothing really that bad, and you do get a lot of help from some buddies in this one. But other than that, just your normal enemies. You can pull a large group if your characters are strong enough and aren't complete morons. The group I was in was pretty decent. But let's get straight to the first boss. Alright, your first boss is against the Spectral Thief, and he's got multiple moves you'll have to watch out for, and I'll point them out each one for you. First up is a move known as Spectral Dream. That's your standard issue tank buster. Next up is a move known as Chicken Knife. This is where line AoEs from each corner will target each of the party members. A lot of times you can stand in the middle to help alleviate it. I didn't. I stood on the outside and it was okay. Next is a move he does that is known as Dash, where he will teleport to a marked location just before unleashing a circle AoE. If you get hit by this, it will inflict a vulnerability stack on you. Keep in mind, it's at the tethered icon where he's going to jump to. So the AoE underneath him when he first starts is not exactly the AoE. It's once he goes to that marked little icon when he sets it off. Next is a move known as Shadow Dash. This is the main mechanic you'll have to deal with for a lot of this fight, and it kind of alternates. He'll teleport himself in a shadow to 2 different marked locations, and then unleash this weird, either a circle AoE or a line AoE. The AoEs appear marked. Just remember that they cycle through. First is a line. The second time he does this, it'll be a circle AoE and underneath them, and alternating. Remember that he will move first, and it will inflict vulnerability stacks. This one can be kind of tricky because you'll have to watch out for his line AoEs that he sets out, and also his AoE markers where he's going to go to either set off the lines or the big circle AoEs. This one is a little tricky at first, but you'll get the hang of it. Next is a move known as Spectral Whirlwind, which is room-wide unavoidable AoE damage. Just heal through it, you'll be fine. And then his last move is known as Spectral Gust, where he will mark AoEs on all party members. Just make sure to spread out and don't stack. And other than that, that's really the only mechanics you have with this boss. As you get down 50%, he'll start adding AoEs to the bottom of your characters when he's doing Shadow Dash. But other than that, that's the only moves you really have to deal with this boss, and you can get on and fight through your next set of trash mobs. Nothing really special with the trash mobs leading into the second boss, other than they hit kind of hard, but once again you will get help from your little buddies as you go through here. Nothing you really have to worry about. Let's get straight to the second boss. The second boss of this new dungeon is the Spectral Necromancer. Has a lot of different stuff, and I'll go right through it with you one by one. First up is Tainted Touch. That's your average everyday tank buster. Then he has a move known as Chaos Storm, which is a room-wide unavoidable AoE. Heal through it. Next up is a move known as Absolute Dart 2. That's where this giant cone AoE will appear and will infect people with cleansable doom. You can dodge it very easily, and if you do get it, like I said, you can just cleanse the person of doom. Next up is a move known as Necromancy, where he'll summon 4 zombies, and one is tethered to each party member. And what he'll do is he'll summon walking zombies first, but later on you'll get crawling zombies, and they'll as you keep going through, he'll stack them together, and you'll want to be very, very careful with this. The walking zombies have this tether, and the zombies auto target you for a few seconds and then drop dead and explode. So just avoid them. Try to lure them on the outside of the area before they explode to avoid them hitting you and other people. Now, as for the crawling zombies, they have something known as a smoky tether, and these zombies will inflict rigor mortis when they catch you, and they slowly approach at first, but they will instantly close the gap after an AoE marker appears if they haven't caught you by then. And when they do get you, basically you're stuck and you have to deal with Necro Burst. Now, Necro Burst is where the zombies explode and they inflict heavy damage. Now, remember, the big difference is, though, is if you get captured and caught by the walking zombies with Necro Burst, you will get vulnerability stacks. You won't if it's the crawling ones, because you can't really avoid those guys. Next up is a move known as Pain Mire, where these 5 giant circle AoEs that inflict vulnerability stacks, and they will leave behind these bleed puddles. Try to avoid the puddles at all costs for the rest of this battle. They do go away after a while, but they're there for quite a bit. And his last move that he does is known as Dark Deluge, where he drops a circle AoE on each player that inflicts vulnerability stacks. Just try to dodge him as much as possible. And that's basically it for the second boss. Your last set of trash mobs are basically the same, just like the first 2 groups. You'll have some backup helping you. Just burn through them. Should have no problems. You'll get on to your third and final boss battle of this new dungeon. The final boss is against the distant ideal, the Spectral Berserker. This guy's got a lot of mechanics you got to pay attention to. First up is a move known as Beastly Fury, which is a raid-wide damaging attack. Basically, the first use will fill the whole area's edges and corners with bleed puddles to stay there for the rest of the dang battle. Keep that in mind. The next move he'll do is known as Wild Anguish, where he'll stack attacks that inflict magic vulnerability up for a few seconds on your players. Next up is a move known as Raging Slice. It's a line AoE in the front inflicting vulnerability stacks. He always does several of them in a row. 2 the first time, and as the thing progresses he'll get to like 3 for the rest of the fight. Just pay close attention and just don't stand in front of them and you should be okay. Next up is a move known as Wild Rage, which is a insta-kill circle with knockback that leaves behind a big, huge crater. So just keep in mind to avoid being knocked back out of the arena, and don't be in the middle of the circle and you'll be fine. These do leave permanent holes for the rest of the battle. Next up is a move known as a Bit Berserk. Now, what you want to do is standing in the craters will inflict stacks every second or so, and it will become like into a truly Berserk at 8 stacks that force you to auto the boss and take massive self-damage with each hit. So remember that. Don't stand in those holes. Next up is Falling Rock, where he'll drop a rock on each party member, and then he uses a move known as Wild Anguish on all of you in quick succession. Make sure to stack within the rocks to survive, not with each other. So basically, stay underneath your rocks that he gives you. And you'll still take some damage. You'll be able to get through it. You'll be able to get healed through it. And his last move to pay attention to is known as Wild Rampage, which is massive damage. It's almost guaranteed to be an instant knockout with vulnerability stacks. Make sure to stand inside the craters to avoid this. If you do not, it will one-shot kill you. When he's doing Wild Rampage, get your butt inside the crater. It's one of the few times that you want to get inside the crater. Other than that, stay out of them. Other than that, that is all the mechanics of the final boss, and you should be able to beat the distant ideal, the Spectral Berserker, and beat this new dungeon, the Hero's Gauntlet. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog. I hope this walkthrough helps you in this dungeon. Make sure to hit the like icon if you like this video. Leave a comment below what you think about the new patch that they dropped for Final Fantasy Online. Are you liking it? Make sure to hit the bell icon to stay updated whenever I release any new videos. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.